Back to another live stream on the channel. We've got some big things coming up in the coming days. Apologies if the camera cuts out at all in the stream. I've been having some issues with it. If it does cut out, I'll just go to the screen only view. But we've got some big things coming up. We have the Fed decision tomorrow. Now, we all know the outcome of this. There's literally a 97% chance that there's no change. So it seems like that is the outcome, right? There's going to be no cut, and the Fed funds rate is going to remain the same. However, as we know, it's more about the stuff that Powell says rather than the outcome when it's got this probability. It's about what Powell actually says when he gets on the stage. And everyone's wondering, is he going to imply that they're going to cut in September? That's the question that everyone has in their minds. And any indication of a cut in September will soar the markets up, in my opinion, because people front run things when it comes to markets. Markets are forward looking. If it seems like there's going to be a cut in September, people will start buying now and they'll push the markets higher in advance. Because investors are smart, investors aren't stupid. They can see things coming and they'll read between the lines with what Powell says tomorrow. And if it seems like there's going to be a cut in September, markets will absolutely skyrocket in the coming days. Now, quite often what you have before these FOMCs is a bit of a sell-off because people don't want to risk it. It's always risky when you go into an FOMC event. Some people would rather have their capital sidelined and then they can buy back in based off what goes down. So there's always a section of the market which prefer to stay out and then buy back in based off what happens because they want that certainty, right? You've got to realize some people have hundreds of millions of dollars invested in the market. It suits them to be on the cautious side and to sell in advance and then protect their capital if anything does go wrong. But I'm not worried about tomorrow. I think it's going to be a bullish outcome, in my opinion. You generally see this anyway. Some people just take some profits because of the uncertainty, and they usually end up buying back in. So that to me is why we're having a little bit of a sell-off today. Is some people are nervous about tomorrow. They're taking some profits prematurely, just staying sidelined, and then they're going to make a decision based off what is said tomorrow, whether they re-enter the market. And I believe a lot of capital will re-enter the market after the FOMC speech by Powell. Okay, so that's something to keep on your calendar. It's going to happen tomorrow, and we're going to stream it. We're going to stream it in the Discord, in the VIP group. So if you are a VIP member, we're going to go through that live and discuss the ramifications of what Powell says, and we're going to be analyzing the markets. We always do that on the FOMC events, so make sure to be in the group so you don't miss our coverage. But my conviction plays remain the same. Nothing's changed. Right now, I remain extremely bullish on the plays I currently have, and I think there is still a good move up left. Right now, maybe some of these predictions could be lowered a little bit because we've seen some gains lately, but I still think you're going to be seeing widespread profits in the coming weeks. And I think August will be, on the whole, a very, very bullish month. August is typically bullish in a post-halving year. I don't think this time is going to be any different. Now, one chart which I've got on my radar right now is Bitcoin dominance. And I've talked about the fib levels and how well Bitcoin dominance respects the fib levels. The last point it found resistance was the 786 fib level at 66%. That is the level that we hit before we then had a major dump. That's the level where we rejected. What's the level where we found support? It was exactly the golden pocket level. That's where we found our support. So it's going to be interesting to see how long this support sustains, or whether we're just going to fall back over and start dumping lower. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens in the coming days. I believe If Powell says anything that indicates a rate cut in September, markets are going to front run that and they're going to go risk on before the rate cut. Because, like I said, markets are forward looking. They make decisions in advance, they read between the lines. So, this right now is just a pre FOMC sell off. Usually, unless anything bad happens, we should get a pump after this. And that's my take. And market should start to go risk on as we head into that rate cut in September, which seems like it's going to happen, though the probability has been decreasing. So smash the likes up on the stream if you're just tuning in. A bit of a red day across the board in the market, but I'm buying. I've told you guys I'm going risk on. And I bought some more of a meme coin, which I'm bullish on yesterday. And I've got a little bit of sideline capital currently waiting for some opportunities. I'm not going to give you all my cards right now. Not going to show you my cards, but I've got a few cards close to my chest, let me just say. A few projects on my radar, which I'm looking to stack in the coming days. So I'll be dropping those buy alerts as those opportunities arise. Ben Shaw drops a $5 Canadian super chat. Thanks for the super chat. I have $1,000 in H-bar. When it doubles, I want to take profits and move to Say. Turning 2K into 10K with 5x on Say. Is that reasonable? The thing is, what's your time frame for this, right? Because by the time H-bar doubles, Say could have already doubled or tripled. So the 5x may no longer be there. That's what you need to realize, right? The 5x may no longer be there. If you put $1,000 into H-bar now and you wait for it to double, by the time it's doubled, it could be halfway through the bull run for Say. Say could have already made major moves. So I don't know if that's the strategy I'd be deploying. I would personally just hold both of them and sell them both around the same time, because the likelihood is if H-bar is pumping really hard, Say is probably also pumping. It's unlikely that one's just going to skyrocket and the other's going to do nothing. But thanks for the donation. And I just took my camera off there because it's going in and out. It's a bit frustrating. You are likely right about the pre-FOMC sell-off. The alts are dipping today. Yeah, exactly. This isn't anything new. Quite often we see this, right? Heading into the FOMC, you see a sell-off, and then coming out of it, you see a pump. We see this quite a lot. And all it is, like I said, some whales, they prefer to have confirmation before they enter positions. They don't like uncertainty. And you've got to realize some of these guys have huge positions. They're not willing to take the risk of what's to come with the FOMC. They would rather wait it out, see what happens, and then make their decisions. So that's usually what happens when you get these sell-offs just before the FOMC. Top 5 RWA coins. I don't even have 5 that I like, to be honest. I like Ondo and I like maybe 1 or 2 others, but there's not even 5 coins in the RWA category that are worthy of being in a list. Most of them are absolute garbage. Top 5 AI coins. I'd say the same about AI. The vast majority of AI coins are terrible. There's maybe only 1 or 2 AI coins which are actually good. Tau being one of them, Virtuals being another. I don't think there's many more that are actually worthy of even getting a mention, to be quite honest. There's not that many good projects. That's the thing. People ask me, what are your top 5 this? What are your top 10 that? I don't even have 5 AI coins that I like. Hey, I think the more rate cuts, the shorter the alt season. I want for sure a rate cut, but I think September would give us more of a blow off top than if we get one this week. Yeah, there's not going to be a rate cut this week. But I don't know. I kind of think that the market's been pricing in rate cuts for a while now. Like we've been pricing in rate cuts for the back end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes a sell the news event, to be quite frank with you. Everyone's expecting a major pump after the rate cut. What if we dump? Just like when Trump got in office, right? Everyone thought, oh, Trump's the new president. We're going to see a massive pump. When was the local top for Bitcoin? It was January 20th, Inauguration Day. That's not a coincidence. Bitcoin topped out that day because it was a sell the news event, because the bullish news is already priced in. And something similar could happen with rate cuts. Everyone's expecting a rate cut in September. Let's say we just get a poxy 25 basis point rate cut, nothing special. We could dump. It's not a guarantee that we pump. A 25 basis point cut is not the influx of liquidity that some people think it is. It's 25 basis points when we already have a relatively high interest rate. We need 50 basis points for it to really have an impact in terms of liquidity. So I'm not too convinced that a 25 basis point cut in September would then trigger a blow off top. I think it could even trigger a sell the news event in September. But I'm always trying to see things from different perspectives, right? It's been awesome to watch your channel grow. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being here for a while. Thanks, Archie, for your great work. You are the best. Wow. Appreciate it, man. Render a good buy. It's a decent buy. Yeah, please stop spamming the same coin. I'm not checking out Jim. I've heard it so many times. Do I think XRP could break $4? Let's check the chart for XRP. Didn't one of the founders sell a chunk of XRP? So XRP obviously made a new high. It then collapsed straight back down. So it wasn't much of a convincing high. My target on XRP is 4.5. That's my target for XRP. $4.50. I think it could hit that this bull run. Hey Archie, love the content. I currently have 24% of my portfolio in Solana. Would you swap some for Sui? Yes, I would. Sui is obviously riskier than Solana, but I think it's going to provide much more ROI. So personally, I would swap a chunk of my Solana for Sui. Maybe not all of it in your case. I don't know your situation, but I would definitely have some Sui if you haven't got it already. Hello, Archie. Is it possible that we have a local top this August, a dip in September to October, and then a last pump in November to December? That's also a possibility. Look, guys, there's endless possibilities. We've just got to look at the probability. We've got to look at the probable scenario. You know, there's endless different potential scenarios out there. But I think either way, we are going to get a pretty sizable dump end of Q3. And that's just my take. There's multiple things that are pointing towards that for me. One of them is actually the fact that everyone thinks Q4 is going to be insanely bullish. The fact that almost every YouTuber out there is saying October, November, December, that's where all the money is going to be made. The fact that they're all saying that concerns me, because usually when all the big YouTubers say something, you should be doing the opposite. You should be doing the absolute contrary to what they do. So that's just something on my mind. You know, everyone's got this narrative that we're going to be pumping all the way until the end of the year. What if we pump really hard in August, front run all the rate cuts, and then they're already priced in, and then we get a very strong dump in the back end of the year? Especially with the fact that unemployment's been rising. You know, there's some weakness in the data. It's slowly weakening, you know, but it is weakening. Growth is projected to slow down in the coming months due to the high rates and the tariffs. Do you think any new coins will hit 50 to 100 billion in market cap this cycle? That's a great question. Now, last bull run, we had Bitcoin, obviously, we had Ethereum do that, we had XRP do that, we had Solana, we had BNB, we had Doge, not Tron. Tron didn't go that high. Cardano did it. And I think Shiba Inu hit around 50 billion last bull run. So you had a good selection of coins get in that range last bull run, maybe 5 or 6 coins. So it's possible that at least one does it this bull run, right? At least one new coin does it. You would expect that. The problem is there's so many coins now. So last bull run, there were maybe only like 5 or 6 decent layer ones. Now there's 20 or 30 decent layer ones. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's why we're not going to see as many projects get to really, really high market caps. Because the established coins are there now. The Solanas, the XRPs, they're all established. They're maintaining their position in the hierarchy. And then there's a lot of newer comers, right? There's a lot of newcomer coins that haven't necessarily got to the heights that people expected. So it's going to be interesting to see. There's actually not been that many new coins burst onto the scene this bull run, really, when you think about it. The only real big ones I can think of that have had a big impact are Sui and Hyperliquid. I can't really think of another coin that's new that's really made a big impact in the market. There's not been that much. There hasn't been that much innovation when you think about it with the crypto altcoin space. I mean, most of the coins we've got in the top 30 are they were already around last bull run. The Cardanos, the Trons, the Doge, XLMs, they're all household names. It's only really Hyperliquid and Sui that have burst onto the scene with projects starting up in the last couple of years. Thoughts on AI tech? I'm not a fan. Not a fan of it. I could give you maybe 20 or 30 projects, maybe 40 or 50 projects that I prefer. So rate hikes will pump the market then. No, rate hikes won't pump the market. Why would rate hikes pump the market? That makes no sense. Rate cuts have been pumping the market, especially in anticipation to them as we front run them. I mean, that's part of the reason why we've been pumping lately. There's maybe 2 main reasons why we've been pumping lately, right? One of the reasons is trade certainty. One of the reasons is trade certainty. We've had some trade deals come out. We've had de-escalation when it comes to the tariffs. Another reason we've been pumping is because the market is pricing in rate cuts, in the fall. So there's 2 main reasons why we've been pumping. One is related to trade. The other is related to rate cuts being priced in. Shout out to Cryptex for his TA expertise. Absolutely. Cryptex is spot on when it comes to the TA. Highly recommend using his expertise. In the Discord group, we have an entire section of the Discord dedicated to chart requests. So if you've got a coin where you want the chart reviewing, post it in the Discord, and my genius chartist will give you an update on it. He'll tell you what he thinks. He's a full-time trader. He's made a ton of money in crypto, and he's an absolute genius. So he's been posting some charts lately. One of the perks of the membership is you can literally tag him at any moment and ask him about a coin. You can see two people have just tagged him here about Say and Miggles. Usually he'll get back to you in a few hours. So you can see all the charts he's done here. Looking at the fibs, looking at the MACD. What's this one for? FWOG. Giving some targets. Really, really is a great benefit of the membership. Is Corpo a dead coin? Probably. Been here for a while too. At what? Wait, been here for a while too. At which amount of a portfolio is the VIP group interesting? I don't quite understand your question. Are you asking what size of a portfolio should you have to join the VIP? Honestly, I would say $500 plus because you'll probably make the money back super quick. It's more the bundle. The bundle's where I kind of have a restriction, right? Because I want the best for you guys, and some people have come to me and said they want to get the bundle. They only had a portfolio of maybe $10,000, $8,000, and I told them just join the VIP and work your way up to the bundle because the bundle it's priced at a premium because it is premium, right? It gives you everything you need, and it includes one-to-one mentorship, one-to-one calls. It really is like an all-encompassing tier package. So the bundle usually I turn people down if their portfolio is too small, but when it comes to the VIP, it's really for everyone. Like I don't turn them down and say no, you're not allowed. I just say I don't think it's for you. And that's, me having their best interests at heart. Archie, thank you for answering my question. How would you take profits in August? Are you going to sell your entire bag? It depends on the levels we hit. I've done an entire presentation, PowerPoint presentation for my mentor tier members on my exit strategy. I literally did that like a week or two ago. So if you want to see my full exit strategy guide, I recommend going on the mentor tier. There's a full comprehensive presentation, and you can watch the video and you can access the PowerPoint. We do these detailed presentations every few weeks. And there's one on exit strategy, and I discuss all of this. But it depends on the levels we hit. Like, there's a chance I would keep a moon bag in. Even if we got to good levels, there's a chance I would still keep a little bit of a moon bag in, just in case. Because you never know in crypto. What's my opinion on Aerodrome? I'm extremely bullish on it. I think base is going to be huge. And since base doesn't have a token, Aerodrome is the best way to speculate on base. So I think it's a no-brainer play, to be quite honest with you. Once it breaks this resistance here, Aerodrome's probably going to fly towards its all-time highs. Do I tend to be more of a conservative investor in terms of taking profits? I just try and take profits when I think something looks overheated. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily conservative. I'd just say I'm realistic. People call me conservative, right? But the problem is most people are moon boys. So if most people are moon boys and then someone's actually just being a realist, obviously you seem like a conservative in terms of your profit taking. The reality is most people are just moon boys. I'm actually in the middle. I'm just logical and a realist. But if most people are moon boys and you're a realist, to them, you look like you're ultra conservative and boring. We're going back to the midline of the Bitcoin dominance at 63%. This will cause short-term pain until Bitcoin dominance breaks down again and alts will officially break all-time highs. Great buys. Yeah, it's very possible. Like Bitcoin dominance here does look like it wants to go up a bit. It does look like that. So it's possible we come up a little bit and then we crash back down in August. So if we dump in September, then the real alt season starts the end of the year. I think we're in alt season now, to be honest with you. We're just in the very beginning stages of alt season. I don't understand. Like, what do you mean the real alt season? Are you expecting alt season to be the same as 2021? Because if you are, you're probably gonna get wrecked. And I don't mean that in a, you know, in a mean way. I'm just saying if you're expecting the same outcomes of 2021, you probably need to revise your expectations a little bit because this market's been maturing. You don't get those 100x's left, right, and center now. Like, don't get me wrong. In my VIP group, we're outperforming the market by ridiculous levels. Like, we're making 3x's, 4x's, 5x's day in, day out. But the reality is this market is a lot more mature than what it used to be. And that means the dumps aren't as bad and it means the pumps aren't as good. But I believe this breakout here is indicative of alt season on total 3. This breakout alongside dominance rejecting from the 786, I think both of those indicate that we're heading into an alt season or we're in one. I'm 70% out in 4 weeks if we pump hard in August. Yeah, that's reasonable. Archie, you're a true gentleman in turning away bundle subscriptions where you deem it to be inappropriate. Shout out to your professionalism over monetary rewards. Thank you, Stanley. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I want what's best for you guys. So I could take more money in many ways. For example, I get projects all the time emailing me, DMing me on X, trying to throw money at me. I've been offered up to 6 figures from projects trying to throw money at me to do a promotional video and a promotional alert in my Discord. Hey, sir, how much is it for a promotional video and a post in your Discord group? They ask me my rates. How much is it? And they do this to all the YouTubers, by the way. It's not just me. They do it to all of them. All of the YouTubers with more than 10,000 subscribers, they'll be doing the same thing. Now, most of the YouTubers take the money. And there's some sort of formula you can work out based off your subscribers and then how much money you should get for a promotional video. So maybe a promotional video for me be like 5K, 10K, something like that for a certain project. I haven't done a single promotional video on this channel for a crypto. Not a single one. Not even one. And I've had the channel for over 3 years. I probably would have made $1 million from paid promotions if I'd done them over this period of time. Probably would have made $1 million from doing paid promotions. But I've not even replied to a single one of them. So I 100%, I turn down money based on principles. Not many people do that. I bought a lot of Miria because of your channel, but you don't talk about it anymore. Because I sold it. Why would I talk about a coin that I sold in profits? I sold it a while back in profits. It's still a good coin. It will still probably do well, but I sold my Miria when I was up 17x and when I was up 4x and when I was up 8x. I exited out of the project because I saw that gaming was dying down. So I sold it in profits. You should be in the VIP group so you get my sell alerts in real time. You'd be lucky to see over 20 billion for Casper, unfortunately. I agree. Casper would be really lucky to do that. Like if Casper goes above $1, I would be very surprised this year. Highly doubt Casper will hit $1 this year. It's extremely unlikely. It's not impossible, but it's extremely unlikely. That's what I've been saying. 30 cents is a major level where people are going to take profits. People like myself who've made multiple six figures on Casper will be up millions by the time it hits 30 cents. We'll be taking big profits on it. But the other YouTubers won't tell you that. They'll say it's going to $50. Just keep buying. No one's ever going to sell it. Pull the wool over your eyes. Q4 will be amazing, especially for the stock market. It might be good for the stock market, but sometimes crypto and stocks aren't always aligned. We've seen times where the stock market continues pumping while crypto enters the bear market. For example, Bitcoin last bull run topped out in November 2021. The S&P 500 topped out later than that. So Bitcoin was in a bear market. The S&P kept climbing higher. Let me try and get this on the chart. So S&P 500 topped out January 2022 before it then entered like that recession under Biden. But yeah, the S&P 500 topped out January. Bitcoin topped out November. So you had all of November, 1 month, because it topped out early November, right? All of November, all of December, a bit of January. The S&P 500 topped out 2 or 3 months after Bitcoin. After Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin was to top out, let's say in August or September, the S&P could for sure keep running into Q4. But this isn't a channel on stocks. I've invested in the stock market a lot. I understand stocks. I've made a ton of money from stocks, but this isn't a channel on stocks. This is a channel related to crypto. But people need to realize stocks usually top out after Bitcoin, typically. Now, there could be a deviation to that rule, but that's usually the case. So maybe Bitcoin tops out August, September, hypothetically, let's just say, for the sake of this argument. If Bitcoin was to top out in September, the stock market could top out in December. It's very possible. And September would be a Q3 top for Bitcoin. If you had to pick between Ondo and Arrow, which one would you pick? That's like asking someone to pick between their 2 kids, which one's their favorite. I don't have a favorite out of those 2, honestly. They are both incredible players, and they're probably going to do similar X's. So it's really hard to pick one. They're absolute non-negotiable plays to have in your portfolio. A portfolio isn't complete if it's missing one of those 2. You need both of those, in my opinion. You need the blue chip RWA play because they've got crazy partnerships. They're tokenizing the entire stock market. And you need the number 1 DeFi play, which is the number 1 DEX on base. They're both non-negotiable projects which are required in any successful portfolio for me. But by the way, guys, shout out to all the people who used to watch my channel back in the day when I used to talk about gaming coins a lot. Now, I did sell a bunch of my gaming coins, but now I'm starting to buy back in to the gaming narrative. Starting to buy back in to the gaming narrative. And there's a few gaming coins which I really like the look of. One of them is Guns. One of them is Mavia. I think Mavia is going to do some great things. Beam is solid as well. And then I also posted a buy alert for a microcap gaming coin in the VIP group. So if you want to gain access to an even smaller one than some of the ones I mentioned, then check out the VIP and you'll gain access to one of my recent buy alerts, which has a ton of potential in the gaming narrative. NFTs will be big. Yeah, they might make a comeback. Zora is a project which I'm very interested in. Zora's kind of like a NFT, Instagram, OnlyFans hybrid. It's really weird. It's like all these different things all put together. Like you buy images essentially, as like almost like an NFT, right? You buy it and it has a value. It has a market cap and a value. Like look at this. This picture has raised $2,745. Just this picture of this duck in this car. I want to make sure there's nothing inappropriate that comes up on the screen. Just this picture of this car is worth 1.1K. Crazy. So if NFTs come back, I think they'll come back in a more evolved way. It's not going to be the same as how they were last cycle. They'll be in a new form. Yeah, Guns has a tiny market cap, and it's probably the best quality gaming project out there in crypto. So considering its market cap, I think it's a good buy. Join the VIP to see Archie's new buy alert, have daily voice chats, and get your portfolio reviewed as well. We're doing gem hunting tonight on the VIP call. Yeah, good stuff, man. 100%. People need to join up. It's a no-brainer. Also, I'm going to be hosting a mentor meeting presentation in the coming weeks on my vetting process, my research process for cryptos. So I'll be telling you exactly how to fish the coins as well, right? Teaching you how to fish. It's good just giving you the fish, but it's also good teaching someone how to fish, right? It's all well and good me just giving you the alerts and you making a ton of money from my alerts. That's great. But it's even better if you can learn from me and then go and do it on your own. Student becomes master in a way. So that's my aim with the mentor tier, is to really teach my secret techniques and all the ways I've made, these millions in crypto at a young age. And I'm going to be doing a full presentation on my vetting process, my research process, how I found some of these coins really low. And I'll be teaching that to the mentor members in a presentation. So definitely recommend getting on the mentor tier if you can afford it. Even for a month, you can always downgrade back down to the VIP if you want. What do you think about Say? It will be a good coin for investment. Yes, Say is amazing. The thing with Say, it's just waiting for a breakout. Like, look at the chart here. You pull up the chart on the daily. It's just waiting. Let me pull this up. It's just waiting for this breakout above this linear resistance line. It's just hovering at resistance. It needs a push above like 35 cents, and then it's game on for Say. You're going to see incredible movement. And it's not just Say that's in this position. A lot of coins are just below resistance, waiting for a catalyst, which I think could be the FOMC, and they're going to move up massively. And if Jerome Powell comes out tomorrow and says any indication of a rate cut in September, markets are going to front run that. They're going to price it in, and they're going to buy. And we're going to see massive price appreciation in August if that happens. So all eyes on the Fed decision tomorrow. Obviously not the decision, but more the speech from Powell rather than the decision, because we already know there's most likely going to be no change. Now, if if they did end up cutting, all hell would break loose in a good way. That would be ridiculous. The floodgates would open, and we'd see a massive pump if that happened. But it is probably not going to happen, right? But either way, we'll be discussing it in the Discord group. We'll be on a call, and we'll be watching it live, discussing the ramifications of the decision, what Powell says, and what we can expect from the markets as a result of it. The FOMC calls are usually the best ones. They last for hours, and they're just full of value. So make sure you're there to witness it. Yeah, Say's ready, Arrow's ready, Sui's ready. They're all just slightly below resistance. They just need one little catalyst, one bit of news, one little bit of influx of liquidity, and they're all going to send it higher. And my focus right now isn't on those plays because I've already stacked them a lot. I'm really happy with my utility plays. My focus now is turning towards the memes and the low caps. That's where my focus is at right now, so that I can go risk on, because these are all good, safe blue chip plays, and I'm stacked heavily on those. Now I'm looking for those low caps that are going to print fast. They're going to make me quick money, and thus make the VIPs a lot of money as well who follow along. So I've got some research to do, guys. Got to wrap up the live stream. I'm going to go look for some gems, and there's going to be a research call in the Discord later today as well. So make sure to join those. But appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you over in the Discord, and make sure to leave a like on the live stream.